Hey guys, it's Dave. I am filming this on April 1st, 2026, which means we have been together now 2 years. Some of us. Some of us have been together since that first video. Now, 103 or 4 videos later, am I good at this? No. Getting better? Up for debate, I suppose. By pure coincidence, my second favorite plant that I have ever owned and grown, that plant is long dead, but its replacement came today. And I think a lot of us who have had relatively large collections will know plants come and go. And most of them I've not missed because maybe I got rid of it to make money and I just wasn't into it that much, or just wasn't into it at all, or some of them of course died or got killed off, or you know, the things that happen with plants. They're impermanent for the most part. But this one I have never ever forgotten, and I purchased the original one at our local plant shop. I have been looking and looking and looking to replace this. I've also been looking here, my favorite, official nursery in the United States. And I don't know, it seems like when they had them in stock, it was just, I just didn't want to ship them in. It was cold and it cost extra, and it's kind of it's not a fussy plant, but I've seen what cold damage can do to it, and that is what cost me my first one. It's been on the channel, not in its glory days, but in the recovery days, which wasn't really a recovery. It was just a further slow decline of this magnificent plant, and I think about it all the time. For real. It got cold damaged over 2 years ago, winter 2 years ago, so nearly 2 years and 3 months ago. It's a long time to still be thinking about a plant. And our local nursery plant shop has just never gotten it back in. And finally I decided that it's warm, they just got these plants back in stock, they're out of stock again. I'm gonna grab one, and they're priced very reasonably. It'll take a little while to get it back to the one I had, but it didn't take me that long to grow that one to a great specimen. If this is my second favorite plant, well, we don't know what this is yet. We haven't unboxed it yet. We hope that this will become my second favorite plant. There must be a first favorite plant, right? Those of you who've been around a minute knew that this is my #1 plant. It's my favorite plant. It is by far the toughest plant. It has been through all of it in Iowa. Weather and me. This has to be carried outside in the nice weather and down into the basement in inclement weather to be watered. It gets banged around. It's been exposed to very, very cold temperatures out here on the porch. I put it out here and hang it as soon as I possibly can. As long as the temperatures are above 35, it's out here. It will grow laying on a table flat with grow lights over it, which it did for well, we won't say how long it was on the dining room table, but it was... How has my wife not left me? And I don't think it's very far down the rabbit hole to say, if there's a distinct first and second, is there a third favorite plant? Well, yes. Yes, of course, without even thinking. And you have seen this a bunch of times on the channel. This is my Lowe's No ID Phalaenopsis. Looking mighty good this year. This plant spends 6 months of its life in flower. And I just love those little tiny dots. Let me try to hold this up a little bit. It's kind of heavy and awkward, but I really love, I sit across from this maybe 8 or 9 feet, something like that. Big flowers, easy to see, so they're not like little tiny Hoya flowers that you have to be right up on top of. And it's in front of a west window, but pretty far away from it. But the light hits it from behind, and these become nearly iridescent except for the edges of the petals. And it's, oh man, it is really just something to see. I love this plant. if we have established that there is a definite number 1, 2, and 3, is there a number 4? No, we have to climb out of this rabbit hole. I would say at 4, things would get complicated. And we're back, and I am percolating about what would be number 4, what would be number 5. Yeah, so many. Ficus benjamina's got to be right there. I've got some orchids. I've got, well, anyway, the year of that plant's decline is one you've heard about a lot, because it was the year where outside it was minus 25 for an extended period of time, and our furnace broke at least once. And we had a few spells like that. And one of those spells was when we got the house insulated. So blown in the attic and then insulated in the basement, the ceiling. And they had to have the door open for that. And I tried to group plants upstairs, but the house, it just, oh man, it was a sad thing to watch this absolutely magnificent common plant deteriorate. I was so confident that I would be able to bring it back, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. I had a friend send me an expensive, very, very hard to find Hoya to grow out. See where this is going? It was going to be one for me and one for her, and well, it turned into 0 for anybody because it was growing so well in my normal household conditions. And for the winter, late fall, I moved it into the tent, and with the fan going, it dried, I mean, bone dry immediately, and it never forgave me. It was limping along, and I was trying to bring it back, and it just didn't happen. She has replaced hers. I will somehow make that up to you, Dixie. By the way, plant tubers, that's how you do an unboxing. It's unboxed. This feels like it's going to be a fairly substantial plant. Do you know what it is? Any guesses? Put it in the comments if you think you know me well enough to guess what my number 2 favorite plant would be that you can get at a nursery that sells, for the most part, pretty common plants. Take a guess also at how long that staghorn fern was on this very table that I'm filming at right now. I'll tell you the truth in the comments. I will not memorialize it on film, but I'll tell you in the comments. And it's a pretty one, Philodendron micans. To me, this plant is perfect. It is a perfect trailing plant. If you want it to climb, have it climb. I've seen, okay, mixed results on that. I mentioned in my last video that if you want to know if a Hoya is, if you would prefer it trailing or climbing, to do a Google image. Look at a bunch of different images of how people are growing it. If you don't see any trailing plants, what can I think of? Like I cannot think of a single plant right now, but you'll notice, you know, like every single one of them is climbing, because otherwise they'll just throw out runners for days and days and days. Other plants, there'll be a mix. You'll find a mix of these, and I'll show you my picture now. You can look at it opposite this. I love it trailing. That plant was perfect, always in my line of sight. You know, that picture is on the plant porch where I will be spending a lot of my time coming up. Spring in Iowa is just awful. It was 82 degrees 2 days ago. It is 45 degrees, 30-mile-an-hour winds today. It's just like that. Don't get me started. Got myself started, didn't I? But I think velvet texture likes a little bit more humidity, but doesn't absolutely positively have to have it. That cold snap is what really did it in. I will be growing this one just as it is right here for the foreseeable future. Gabriella is 100% reliable in terms of pest. The substrate they use, this will work great. It is just an absolutely, it's a fabulous plant. And again, you know who I watch. Are people talking about the micans anymore? Man, this plant, 5-inch hanger, $22.99. Their shipping is really cheap. I think it was $10. So you can't go wrong with Gabriella. I've ordered a lot of plants from them. I've always been happy. Well, there was one begonia, Black Magic or something, that was wonky as all get out, and they refunded like half the money because they sent an email and asked if I was happy with it, and I was like, partly. So they made it, right. That was great. But hang on one second. Many of you here will have heard me express my gratitude for you showing up right from the beginning, encouraging me, putting up with, well, my first video wasn't even formatted correctly. I didn't know how to do a thumbnail. I did not know how to edit. I didn't know how to do anything. And they are just awful. They're absolutely awful. And yet I'm so proud that I took a chance, just sat down, and I didn't embarrass myself. But other people would find their early efforts embarrassing, and I do not. I just look at those videos and how far I've come and developed this great community. I have started Long COVID Journeyer. That's my other channel. Not a shameless plug, just like a normal plug. And it is starting out much more slowly. And that's normal. That this channel got traction so quickly. I needed that encouragement, that early success to really keep me going when, I was very ill. So much has changed. But, it just really gave me a sense of purpose, and it just meant the world to me. And that's why I look forward to the comments and just continuing these conversations. It really means the world to me. Every YouTuber says it, and I bet they mean it. You can kind of tell when someone is putting something out there just because they want the engagement to help push the channel out, the video out. And yeah, hey, listen, we do what we got to do, right? But when I ask for a comment, I mean it, and I'm going to respond. And if we have a little bit of communication 3, 4, 5 times, I don't want to wear you out. I won't, on my end, I won't keep it going forever. But, that's great. In the off chance you're still here at this point in the video, and I know many people will have clicked off, and that's fine. I just want to, again, say sincerely, thank you so much. I was going to say past tense, I've really enjoyed this. I am really enjoying this, and guess what? See you in the next one real soon.